Welcome to Sacred Echoes of India. In this segment, we are going to talk about the history of West Bengal, a land of thinkers, revolutionaries, and survivors, from ancient dynasties to colonial battles. From the Bengal Famine to the fight for independence, West Bengal's past is as dynamic as its present. Its story is not only about empires and politics, but also about poets and philosophers. The region known today as West Bengal was once part of the ancient Vanga kingdom, referenced in early texts like the Mahabharata. The powerful Mauryas and later the Guptas ruled this land, laying the foundation of political unity and scholarly pursuits. Buddhism thrived under the Pala Empire, which made Bengal a global center of learning. Under the Palas, Bengal reached new heights in education and international trade. The Buddhist kings supported institutions like Nalanda and Vikramashila, influencing thought far beyond India. Later, the Sena dynasty promoted Hinduism and helped develop early Bengali language and literature. It was during this era that Bengal's unique cultural and linguistic identity began taking root. From the 13th century onward, Bengal came under Islamic rule. The Bengal Sultanate and later the Mughals brought Persian, Arabic, and Turkic influences. Cities like Gaur and Murshidabad became cosmopolitan centers. Despite changing rulers, Bengal remained a cultural melting pot, where Hindu, Buddhist, and Islamic traditions coexisted, interacted, and evolved. The Battle of Plassey marked the start of British colonial rule. Calcutta became the capital of British India, but Bengal paid a heavy price. Famines, plundered industries, and racial discrimination defined the era. Yet, it was also during this time that Bengal woke up. This awakening would soon be called the Bengal Renaissance. One of the darkest chapters in Bengal's history unfolded during World War II, when the region was struck by a man-made catastrophe, the Bengal Famine of 1943. Despite being part of the British Empire, Bengal was left devastated. When food supply chains collapsed due to war policies, crop failures, hoarding, and gross administrative negligence, the colonial government's focus on the war effort in Europe and Southeast Asia led to the diversion of resources from Bengal. Winston Churchill's wartime cabinet prioritized military supplies over feeding Indian civilians, and when appeals for aid were made, Churchill reportedly blamed the famine on Indians breeding like rabbits. Over 3 million people perished, many from starvation, many more from disease. Calcutta's sidewalks turned into open-air morgues. Images of the famine skeletal bodies, women clinging to dead children, shocked the world, especially when photographers like Sunil Jana and journalists like Ian Stephens of The Statesman exposed what the British tried to hide. The famine was not just a natural disaster, it was a political failure and one that galvanized Indian nationalism even further. The mass suffering deepened resentment against British rule and underscored the urgent need for independence. Despite the trauma, Bengal remained a land of ideas. The Bengal Renaissance of the 19th century saw reformers and visionaries challenge orthodoxy and colonialism. Writers like Rabindranath Tagore, scientists like Jagdish Chandra Bose, and spiritual leaders like Swami Vivekananda sparked a cultural revival that fused Indian tradition with modern values. They were joined by fearless reformers who fought for women's education, widow remarriage, and the abolition of sati. In 1947, Bengal was split. West Bengal became part of India and East Bengal became East Pakistan. The partition triggered massive communal violence and migration, especially in Kolkata and surrounding regions. The scars of the Bengal famine and partition ran deep, shaping the emotional and political psyche of the people. The decades following independence were turbulent. The Naxalite movement in the 1970s saw young revolutionaries, many of them students, rise against feudal landlords and state repression. From 1977 to 2011, leftist governments led by the CPI ruled West Bengal, implementing land reforms and promoting rural rights, but struggling to attract industry. Recent political shifts have seen calls for modernization, job creation, and cultural revival as West Bengal repositions itself in a fast-changing India. From the temples of Vishnupur to the libraries of Shantiniketan, from the freedom fighters of Chittagong to the poets of Calcutta is a living museum of Indian resilience and imagination. West Bengal is not merely a state, it is a soul that has housed reform and rebellion, art and agony, and a spirit that refuses to surrender. It's a place where the pen, the protest, and the poem all have equal weight. And though the Bengal Famine of 1943 brought unimaginable suffering, it also sowed the seeds of the freedom movement that could no longer be ignored. Thanks for joining us today. If you liked this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful videos. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.